Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. 2 weeks ago, the Honourable Gentleman's government told people they were U-turning on winter fuel payments because the economy is on a firmer footing. The next day, Madam Deputy Speaker, the unemployment figures were released. 250,000 jobs have been lost since his Chancellor's job-taxing budget. The country is now losing 100,000 jobs a month.
What you're about to witness isn't just another political debate. It's a moment that could define whether ordinary families sink or swim in the months ahead. The stakes couldn't be higher. Picture this: 250,000 jobs vanishing into thin air. Families choosing between heating and eating. Mental health claims skyrocketing while support systems crumble. And at the center of it all, two politicians locked in a battle that goes far beyond party politics. This is about survival. Shadow Secretary Helen Weightley rises to her feet, armed with numbers that would make any government minister's blood run cold. 100,000 jobs lost every month. The unemployment figures that even the most pessimistic forecasters didn't dare predict. Her voice cuts through the chamber like a blade. Who does the honourable gentleman think he is fooling? But the government isn't backing down. What follows is a masterclass in political theatre. Claim and counterclaim, statistic battling statistic, while real people face real consequences. The minister fires back with talk of rate cuts and trade deals. But can economic jargon mask the human cost of policy decisions made in Westminster's ivory towers? Then comes the moment that changes everything. The conversation shifts to Britain's most vulnerable citizens, those battling mental health crises, living with disabilities, struggling to stay afloat. The numbers are staggering. Half of all new health benefit claims now stem from mental health conditions. Yet the proposed cuts could strip support from 3/4 of arthritis sufferers while anxiety patients face an uncertain future. This isn't just politics, it's personal. As accusations fly and tempers flare, one question emerges from the chaos. In a nation where 2.8 million people are out of work due to long-term sickness, where young people face an uncertain future, who really speaks for the British people?
I have said that we're going to do things differently. We're going to tell the truth, even when they are hard truths.
The answer lies not in the heated exchanges you're about to hear, but in understanding what these politicians aren't telling you and why every word matters for your family's future. Prepare yourself for the unvarnished truth.
Shadow Secretary of State Helen Weightley. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. 2 weeks ago, the Honourable Gentleman's government told people they were U-turning on winter fuel payments because the economy is on a firmer footing. The next day, Madam Deputy Speaker, the unemployment figures were released. 250,000 jobs have been lost since his Chancellor's job-taxing budget. The country is now losing 100,000 jobs a month. These figures are worse than even the most pessimistic forecasts. Is this what a firm footing looks like to the Honourable Gentleman?
A firm footing for economic recovery looks like kicking the party opposite out of office. It looks like growing the economy once again. That is what we see if we look at the data. The right honourable lady likes to look at 1 month's worth of data. Well, let's look at it. If we look at the Office for National Statistics data on vacancies, they rose by 27% between April and May. I know the party opposite want to pretend that everything was wonderful a year ago, but every business in this country and every voter knows that wasn't the case.
Shadow Secretary. Honestly, who does the Honourable Gentleman think he is fooling with this spiel? Growth forecasts have been slashed, inflation has surged. What world is he living in? Madam Deputy Speaker, they've been in office for a year and people are losing their jobs because of them and the decisions that they have made. How does he think this everything's fine mantra actually sounds to one of those people who's lost their jobs, to a business facing a tax bill that they can't afford? And has his Secretary of State even told her backbenchers, who will be strong-armed into voting for cuts next week, that the welfare cuts bill we'll be debating gets a grand total of 0 people into work, according to their own impact assessments?
This is ridiculous.
Well, she asks about what's going on with the economy. What's going on is 4 rate cuts over the last year. What's going on is 3 trade deals signed over the last year. What is going on is that employment has gone up and inactivity has gone down. And I know the party opposite love to clutch onto 1 month of data, but let's look at the period, over the whole period of this government. Wages under this party have gone up by more in the last 10 months than the first 10 years of the party opposite.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. More than half of new health and disability benefit claims are now for mental health. Yet under the government's welfare cuts bill, PIP could be stripped from 3/4 of claimants with arthritis and 2/3 of those with heart disease, but fewer than half of those with anxiety. Does the right honourable lady believe that this is the right decision?
I mean, I'm afraid I have great personal respect for the honourable lady, but she really needs to make up her mind. First, she says our proposals are too late. Then she says they're rushed. She criticises us for being cruel, and then she says they're going to vote against our bill because it doesn't go far enough. But her deputy has let the cat out of the bag, saying in a recent Westminster Hall debate, I'm not able to tell you exactly what we would do. The truth is they're a broken party with no ideas, let alone a strategy, and unless they change course, they've got no future either.
Secretary Helen Weightley.
Goodness me, I did actually ask the right honourable lady quite a serious question. That was a very disappointing answer. However, she and I are in agreement that the benefits bill needs to come down, and that will need real reform of the system. So why is she pressing ahead in a panic with her half-baked cuts rather than doing the job properly? We would support a proper rethink on which conditions should get what help, and a better system for people struggling with mental health or neurodiversity would be better off in work than parked on benefits. Why didn't she make that part of her plan?
Let me tell you what we're doing to improve mental health support for people in this country and make sure it's treated as equally important to physical health. We've made significant progress towards recruiting the additional 8,500 mental health workers we said we'd do in our manifesto to reduce delays and provide support. We've confirmed funding to help an extra 380,000 patients get access to talking therapies. And we are investing the biggest ever amount of support investment into employment support for sick and disabled people. And I would say to the honourable lady, when she left 2.8 million people out of work due to long-term sickness and 1 million young people not in education employment training, it's about time she apologised to the country and made up her mind about whether she'll back our reforms.